Can I get a roll call, please?
Present.
Student trustee Presta.
Present.
Student trustee Juracia.
Present.
And then trustee Lee.
Here.
Trustee Cho.
Here.
Trustee Tahada.
Here.
Vice President Walker.
Here.
President Gallegos.
Here.
Angela, we don't have your last name. Can you remind me? Chin, thank you. So student trustee Chin? Yeah, we just did roll call.
Sorry. Okay, there was no public comment for closed session items, and there was nothing to report out of closed session. Let's see, so unless anything has changed on the agenda, can I get approval of the agenda, please?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'd also like to get approval of the minutes for board meetings on December 17th and January 9th.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And as I just mentioned previously, there was nothing to report out of closed session. So moving on to communications. Would anybody from the student board like to report out, starting with Danny?
Yeah, hold on. Not much is really happening over at Thorin lately, but we do have our mural project, which is expected to begin mid to late February, I believe. We're going to paint the big wall, Ms. Presley, the wall where you walk into the gate and like you see the windows to the office. It's going to be really cool, and we're even in the talks of like recruiting, I think around 20 students, whoever wants to join, to help pitch in, and maybe even the opportunity to make money from it, kind of like as a job. So that's pretty cool. And also we are soon expected to have a few upcoming field trips, such as on the 31st, we're going to, I completely forgot where, but we're going to watch elephant seal sex and their mating routine. Elephant seals. It's going to be quite the show. I already see people, you know what's about to happen. And also, this will suck if I don't get to go, but apparently Great America for a physics class, roller coasters and all that stuff. So yeah, that's really cool. And a few more that are just rumored, so I'm not going to explain them just because I don't really know yet. And completely unrelated to anything, I'm really cold. It's extremely cold and I can't take it anymore. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Danny. Dominic?
Hello. Okay, so from Oceana, it's been pretty chill recently, but so there's an ASB court update for the class of 2025. So during graduation, ASB titles will be read before they walk, and academic council announcements are now announced on Google Classroom. And we are in need of a sophomore class secretary for the spring semester, and they changed the requirement. So now it's only 25 signatures and a video submission instead of an in-person election. Valentine's grams are being sold on starting January 20th. Harvest fairs was just happened in December. The second Senior X deadline is on the 22nd. And sophomore exhibition is starting right around now.
Thank you, Dominic. Angela?
So for Jefferson, we're having our second club rush right now. The service clubs just presented their club during lunch today. And then we're having our winter rally on January 31st. The theme is High School Musical versus Teen Beach Movie. And we have a lot of basketball games. I'm pretty sure they had a game last week. And there's a soccer game going on right now. And Mission Fusion is doing their final practices for their show in the beginning of February. And the Key Club volunteered at the Hot Chocolate Run this Sunday. And then we have new classes with our 4x4 schedule. And the seniors had their SF Stay acceptance party before break since they were able to submit an application for free.
Thank you, Angela. Lauren?
Okay, so for Westmore, we are having our winter ball this Saturday at Pinstripes in Hillsdale Mall. The theme is Dazzling Decades Disco. We will also have a TEDx on Thursday, which Miss Tony Presta and Ivani, which is another student trustee, will be presenting. We also recently counted the gift wrapping money that we received from donations for gift wrapping at ceremony, and approximately each class got approximately $2,200, and altogether around $11,100 altogether. We also have our boys tennis, baseball, and track had their first info meetings, and today we have a Chipotle fundraiser for the music program. It's at the Chipotle in Westlake. And then we our Environmental Action Club is having their thrift store for formal wear. We are also having the math club. They recently competed in a math competition, and we are currently planning Lunar New Year and Hearts events for student government.
That's awesome. Thank you, Lauren. Moving on to our board. Andy?
Sure. Not a whole lot here, but first of all, just welcome back everybody to this second semester. Hope everybody had a good, restful holiday break. I know, even though I worked a little bit, it was still pretty restful to have a slower time period over those past couple of weeks. For me, I think a couple of things, just the site meeting that we had at Westmore last week, which was, I thought, a good, productive meeting. Good to just get out there and talk to the staff and to the team, listen to their questions and concerns. And then last night, being here for the Student Advisory Council, which is always fun just to hear the ideas being generated by our student trustees and the work that they're doing this year. So quick, a couple of meetings just to start off the school year for me, or the semester for me.
Marty?
So Saturday, I attended the kind of like a San Mateo County different school districts new board member trustee orientation, another orientation. And it was really nice to be the host campus for that. They wouldn't stop raving about your beautiful building and, for being a great host. So I want to compliment you guys for that. Certainly one thing I took away from that is there's a lot to learn, and recognize that people are going to recognize me in the community and I'll have no idea who they are. So I want to ahead of time just say, please be patient. And also one thing I also noticed was I don't run this. Everybody sitting up here runs this. So if you have a thing or concern, you bring it to me. I will bring it up and discuss it with the superintendent and the board, and then we make a decision accordingly. So it was really, really informative and eye-opening. So, yeah.
Thank you, Marty. How about you, Miss Rosie?
So welcome back, everyone, to the second semester. I hope you all recharged and were able to rest. I caught COVID, so it's out there still. I wasn't able to get my my updated booster, and I caught COVID. So just a reminder to everybody, be careful. It's still there. I do want to acknowledge and send out condolences to the family of Marie Brizuela, who was a Jefferson Elementary School District trustee for 41 years. She passed away recently, and send all our thoughts and condolences to her family and an abundance of friends.
I have very little to report. It was good to be at the Westmore campus for our school site meeting last week and just to have a conversation with the staff there. be able to hear their celebrations and concerns.
Thank you. I don't have anything to report. I do want to say happy birthday to my wife if she's watching, though. A little shout out since I am missing some time with her this evening. I also wanted to congratulate Marty on being elected as a school board member since I wasn't here for that December 17th meeting and for Andy's reelection. Yeah, that was also a meeting I couldn't make because of her birthday. I have 3 kids' birthdays in December, and one of them happened to land on that day. So December was crazy. So other than that, nothing else to report on. So we'll move on to our superintendent, Ms. Tony Presto.
Rosie, I got COVID over winter break as well. I know. 4th time. Then once you keep getting it, it's kind of not a big deal, actually. I was only sick for about a day and a half.
Oh, you pass it to me then. That's not a big deal.
No. Okay. So yes, I also similarly, I just want to welcome everybody back. I know my rest was just very low key and restful, and I've heard that from many people. Student advisory was a great meeting last night. The Westmore site meeting was great. And Lauren, I am so nervous about this TED Talk. I've never given a TED Talk, and I'm not nervous speaking in public, but I'm a little nervous about this TED Talk. But yeah, it's going to be Thursday, and I was very honored that the students asked me to participate. And yeah, so I think we're all just excited and energized for a new coming back in January and getting on with all the great things. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Tony. Are there any board subcommittee reports? All right. Then next up is Ms. Monica Casey with the AFT Local 1481 report.
I have yet to get COVID, and I'm not about to get it.
She's working on that.
I will be putting that back on. Good evening, and welcome back to the second semester. I just want to remind folks that we have a union website that's connected to the district website. You go to for staff, you can go down. We'll have quite a few items on there for immigrant and families for support for this coming up election. This coming up
Inauguration.
yeah, this fun stuff that we're coming up to. We have a few things that we're doing with UESF and also a lot of resources in the county. So you can find them there. You can probably find them in the superintendent's report on Friday. So lots of places. If you need anything, please contact the union. And there's also job descriptions, mostly classified job description updates that you can find also through the website and my emails. And I just wanted to remind people to look at those things. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica.
I just whispered to ask if I could add to my report. Thank you for bringing up resources for families. The district, we are working in conjunction with South San Francisco School District and some of our partner districts to gather information and resources. We're planning 2 staff training days regarding really vulnerable populations. So immigrants, LGBTQ plus, trans students, et cetera. So finding out, what rights are and what we can do to ensure safety. So we will be sharing that information, and we will share more information with families, but the district is also working on those things, and we'll share information as we get it all put together.
And will that be on your weekly reports?
It will be.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Let's see. Moving on to consent. Can I get a motion to approve consent, please?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Is there any public comment?
Yes, we have one public comment, non-agenda item, and that would be from Ava Litz.
How you doing, Ava?
Hi, Ava. So just to let you know that because it's a non-agenda item, we cannot respond to you here, and you're limited to 3 minutes.
Good evening, members of the public and the board. My name is Ava Litz, and I'm a junior at Terra Nova High School, and I'm also president of the Garden Environmental Club. I am also a participant of the California Youth Climate Policy Program, which has taught me about the importance of climate and environmental education in schools. I'm here today to discuss the need for more support and resources to enhance the impact of environmental initiatives in our district. I support the strengthening of the implementation of Policy 3510 Green School Operations, which promotes integrating green practices into education. The passing of this policy demonstrates Jefferson Union High School District's commitment to sustainability, and I am impressed with the steps made so far to implement this policy through the actions such as the creation of the Jefferson Union Sustainability Committee, which I was able to attend. School gardens and environmental clubs play a crucial role in promoting environmental literacy and offer hands-on learning opportunities to teach students about biodiversity, empower students to address climate issues, and build communities committed to sustainability. Unfortunately, without adequate support and guidance, these programs cannot thrive. As the president of Terra Nova's Garden Environmental Clubs, I have seen the potential for these programs to positively impact students' lives. Yet their success depends on district-wide commitment. Without support, these vital programs may fade, limiting opportunities for students to engage with sustainability efforts. An efficient way to accomplish this is to create a Jefferson Union High School District School Garden and Environmental Club guidebook specific to high school students and our local microclimates, which could potentially assist schools in earning sustainability grants, connect schools with local environmental organizations, and provide resources for adult and student leaders to establish and support garden and green clubs more effectively. I aim to also communicate this idea with the Jefferson Union Sustainability Committee, and hopefully together we can make this happen, as the strengthening of implementing Policy 3510 will benefit students and the environment. I greatly appreciate your commitment for sustainability in our schools. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
It's Ava, right? Ava, thank you. Keep using your voice. You did great. Okay. Moving on to discussion items. Let's see, 15A1, board liaison assignments. And this is Ms. Tony Presta.
Thank you. So each year, the board decides at one of the first board meetings what liaison assignments you guys would like to sign up for. We put down the frequency of meetings. Most of them say as needed. Some are very infrequent. The meetings with the cities and other school districts, sometimes we have 2x2s, and so some of them are very infrequent and some of them are much more frequent. So, we can go down the list and have discussion. And if you guys want to sign up for ones you've done in the past, or if other people are interested, depends on what you'd like to do.
Yeah, and we obviously have a new board member, and Kalina was on a lot of committees, I think.
Right. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for people to sign up for. So do you want to kind of go down the list, and you want me to?
Yeah, you want to start with the ones that, I guess, with whoever was signed up for the ones from.
I can tell you who used to be on them. Yeah.
Let's do that.
So, well, they're in a different order, actually. So we have, and I think I reordered it a little bit, the Chamber of Commerce. So what we did is we put Chamber of Commerce. Before we had them on different lines. And so this time we just put Chamber of Commerce. So there's a Daly City, Colma Chamber, there's a Brisbane Chamber, and there's a Pacifica Chamber. I think Daly City, Colma Chamber, we've been much more active in, but I think it's probably appropriate that board members who want to sign up to be active with Chamber of Commerce can sign up for that. So in the past, we had Rosie and Kalima signed up for Colma, City of Colma, Daly City, and Colma Chamber, and Rosie and Charette were signed up for City of Daly City and Jefferson. Oh no, sorry. That was the only thing. So we just added this year Pacifica and Brisbane in case we want, because we do belong to those Chamber of Commerce, but I don't think we have any real presence at them.
But it's usually events. It's not that you would have to go to meetings.
Correct. Yeah. Not that we'd have to go to
And
meetings
usually we're
necessarily.
invited
Yeah.
as a whole to the events.
Correct.
So since these are all listed together, are we just picking, is it just for 2 board members to kind of be representatives of all 3 together, or how do you want to do that?
That's how I envisioned it, because we didn't have anything, but we can make a decision to have them be separate if you want. I don't want to add something on and have somebody go be really, I didn't intend to create a new job necessarily. I just added in, because we're members of these other chambers, it felt like it would be a good idea to have somebody who, as needed, if we did need a representative, somebody was designated.
Here, I'll nominate myself as tribute for this one.
Okay. Jerome, anybody else interested in the chamber?
Sure, I'll do it too.
Andy? Great.
Wow, Andy. So excited.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you. All right. So then, as needed, we broke down City of Daly City. So I'm just going to say the school districts and cities. So City of Daly City and Jefferson Elementary, City of Brisbane and Brisbane School District, City of Daly City and Bayshore School District, and City of Pacifica and Pacifica School District. So if we have 2x2s that would include a partner district and the city, that's what these are for. So in the past, we had City of Daly City and Jefferson Elementary was Rosie and Charette. This was as needed. We had a City of Brisbane and Brisbane School District that was Andy and Kalima. We had Bayshore School District that didn't have City of Daly City, so we just changed the title of that. Bayshore was Andy and Kalima. And then City of Pacifica and Pacifica School District was Rosie and Charette. So,
I'd like to do the City of Brisbane School District one.
Great. And I don't know that we need 2 either. You guys can vote for, these are really rare.
Since Jerome had the quick draw, can I do Pacifica?
Sure.
I'll do Jefferson Elementary.
Great. Somebody want to do Bayshore as needed?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. You may not have a meeting. Like,
There
it's
probably
likely
won't
not. Yeah. These are really infrequent. Okay. And then we also had a board liaison for Summit Shasta that was Kalima. That I think is maybe something that she participated in the past, but there hasn't been anything. I do meet with the principal of Shasta at least once a year, but as things come up, they also present at our board meeting. But should there be a need to have a board liaison, is anybody interested in that position?
You could sign me up for that one.
Okay. Thank you, Jerome. All right. The district advisory committee as needed. Corrine, I'm sorry, Deputy Superintendent Baca, I'm putting you on the spot. We've got the job or the liaison assignment for district advisory committee, and on the sheet from last year, it just said student trustees will attend. But can you explain to me what you might need from either the board and the student trustees for the district advisory committee?
So there will be at least 2 meetings in the spring, starting in February, to review the LCAP for the following year.
All right. And we didn't have any board trustees named last year. Would you like 1 or 2 board trustees on that?
Yes, that would be great.
Great. Okay. So 2 trustees, 2 meetings in the spring. LCAP.
I'll go.
Who? Sorry. Who wants to do it? Jerome?
I'll do it too.
Jerome and Andy. Okay, perfect. Career Technical Education Committee. So there is a meeting once a year. I'm going to now turn my direction over to Denise. There's 2 meetings. Can you explain what is required of that? Please.
There we go. There are 2 advisory meetings a year, one in the fall and one in the spring that you would attend. They're with the San Mateo County Office of Education. So it's all CTE programs in the county. And
So one has happened. One happened here
one
already.
happened in November, and the other one is scheduled for April.
Okay. Is that here as well?
No, probably will be at the county office.
At the county. Okay. And Charette, you were signed up for this one. So I don't know if you want to continue or if somebody else is interested.
I will continue.
Okay, great.
I was about to Bueller that.
Thank you. All right. Daly City Youth Health Center Advisory Board. So in the past, we had Rosie and Kalima had been on this. It's says 4 times a year, but actually it's more than that. I think it's monthly. So I'm going to correct that. I think that it's probably only necessary to have one person, but we can have 2 if 2 people are interested.
And it's usually early morning, isn't it? During the
No,
weekday?
it's in the afternoon.
Oh.
We've changed them to Monday afternoons. They had changed to Thursday afternoons and then people weren't making it. So they've changed them to Monday afternoons, once a month.
Can you explain what exactly that entails?
Yeah, so it's Daly City Youth Health Center. We are like the umbrella organization that Daly City Youth Health Center works under. They're affiliated with the school district. And there is an advisory board that meets monthly. They're in the process of doing, I don't know what you'd call it, a reorganization, strategic plan. I'm not exactly sure how to characterize it. Tina, would you call it anything different than that? Yeah, okay. And so what they're hoping to do is, and so essentially I, as a superintendent, supervise the executive director, and we have 1 or 2 board members as part of their advisory board. And their contracts are approved through the district because they are a subset of our district. But they're going through a strategic planning process to kind of change the way the health center functions, actually, so that they can function more like the Educational Housing Corporation, where there is a board that really oversees more of the business and the direction of Daly City Youth Health Center, because our educational board is not really focused on a health center. So they're changing that configuration right now. We've been in a really kind of like, I think about a year-long process. So the advisory board will be really more just that, advisory. And, you know, I think it's somebody who has an interest in health.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Pardon me?
Yeah. I'll sign up for that.
Are you interested in that?
Yeah, I'm interested in that.
Very good. So you'll learn a lot more about it.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Marty. Okay, San Mateo County School Board Association. So in the past, Rosie and Kalima sat on that, and it says 4 times a year. Rosie, is that about accurate? 4 times a year?
Actually, so those are the general membership meetings, and then they also have the dinner meetings where they have speakers or some sort of program. So we're all invited to those. So I don't know that we really need a liaison for this.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not that you were on a board or you were on a necessary thing. So really, this is for everybody. Everybody should
Everyone.
attend these. Okay, good. So we scratched that off. I love that. Okay. The County Committee on School District Reorganization, that meets annually, and Andy has served on that. I think in the past you did 2, Rosie, right?
I'm actually on the committee. So we need a representative from our school district to attend the one meeting at the end of the year.
Okay.
And we should also have an alternate.
Okay. So in the past, Andy was on the committee and Charette was the alternate.
And it's literally like a half-hour meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that, in person at the County Office of Ed. I'm happy not to have to drive to it.
Yeah.
If somebody
Does
else wants to
anybody
do it.
else, is anybody else interested in taking that on?
I will.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Student Advisory Council.
Sorry, so we should also have an alternate?
I'm sorry. Who would like to be the alternate?
I'll be the
Andy,
alternate.
okay, you'll flip-flop.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Student Advisory Council, it's 2 meetings a month. It's extra fun. It is a bigger commitment because it's twice a month. It's the night before, it's the week of the board meeting. It's the Monday night when we have a Tuesday night board meeting. You get to interact with students on a biweekly basis. And so this year, Rosie and Charette have been the liaisons.
Me.
What did I say?
Charette.
I was looking at Andy and calling you Charette. Sorry.
It's because he looks particularly handsome.
It must be it. So Rosie and Andy have been serving.
I'm happy to continue on.
I am too, but I've been on it forever and I feel like I'm hogging it for others. I mean, I know
Wanna
Jerome
learn,
and has been on it before and it was really enjoyable. It's a really, really enjoyable
service.
Yeah. And I'm being very selfish because I helped create it. But I'm happy to let someone else take my place if they would like to.
It's a good way for you guys to really get in touch with the students and connect with students. I really enjoy it.
You learn a lot from them and you help.
The one thing to add into that is that you and I, Rosie, have school board partners starting up in a couple of weeks on Monday nights but that's at 4 p.m. But we don't know how long that might take.
So it might be better
for
for somebody else.
Might be good for at least one other person, if not both of us, to actually step away. Now I think about it.
Are any other two of you interested in it? Or able to do it?
So it's basically Monday night, every other Monday.
The Monday
at
before
6
board
p.m.
meeting, yeah.
Monday before a board meeting.
Otherwise,
I'm staring you down like the teacher that I am, but a lot of people are putting their eyes down.
I'll continue. I will continue on.
I'll do it with you because I wanted to do it again, but I'm just keeping my mouth shut to try to give somebody else an opportunity. But
okay.
I'll do it again.
Okay, cool.
Jerome and Andy?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, facilities subcommittee. It has been Andy and Kalima. It used to be biweekly, but I do not think that it is so frequent now that we've sort of finished the big work with Ceremony Del Rey. So is this as needed, Tina?
Yes, I would say it's as needed, but probably on average, I would say maybe once a month.
Once a
there'll be
month?
some months when that's twice and some months when there's none.
Okay.
I think, at the most, once a month.
At the most, once a month. I'll keep it as needed, but at most, once a month. We want 2 people.
Well, I would like to serve on it.
And
is it?
It varies, I think.
Yeah.
When she needs a meeting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll continue on.
Andy and Rosie? Anybody fight them for it?
I mean,
I'm kidding.
what's
I'm
the
joking.
competition?
I'm joking. Okay.
Thumb wrestling.
And then we've got the Educational Housing Corporation. It has been Andy and Kalima. It's bi-monthly, meaning every other month, right? And so, oh, thank you. I'm looking at, we changed. We had kept saying bi-weekly and we changed it to make it more clear. It now says every other month. So Andy.
I'd like to continue on.
Like to continue. Good.
Do this one.
Charette.
That's me.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, the Sustainability Committee is something that we've added. This didn't exist before. Deputy Superintendent Van Raphorst has been leading this. Is there anyone who would like to be a liaison to that committee? Tina, is there anything that you need from them other than maybe periodically calling on them?
No, right now we're meeting every other week, so twice a month, and the committee intends to go to just once a month once we get the structure in place and, set our goals and everything.
And are you hoping to have a board member be a regular attendee or?
I didn't even know this was going to be on because I did not look closely at this item. So
it's all good. I think that
I don't think there's any expectation for the board member to be there every time, at least not.
We don't need to make it a position. I think that I must have had some reason to put it on here. So I'm assuming that it was the thinking that if you needed board liaison, there was somebody who was sort of assigned to it because it's a big initiative that we're doing. Sure. So is there anybody who might be interested if the Sustainability Committee needs board interaction?
I'm interested.
Yeah? Okay, wonderful. Okay. And then we've got the police department. So basically Daly City PD and Pacifica PD. Again, this is as needed. We have in the past had like 2x2s and, had issues that we wanted to work on with them. Is there anybody who has an interest in that? In the past, it was Andy and Kalima. I think it was very infrequent.
I'd like to.
I'll do that with Rosie.
Okay.
It's just kind of an as-needed thing.
As needed, yeah. May not even happen. And then this is new, and Andy, I might ask you for some clarification. There's a Pacifica Library Advisory Committee. It's something new, and we had the idea that it's 2 meetings a month.
No, it's actually the second Wednesday of the month.
Second, I don't know how we got that then. Second Wednesday.
Yeah, and the role actually is a representative from JUHSD in an ex officio non-voting capacity.
Okay, but a regular attendee.
They can be. Nobody has been attending on our, at least representing us over the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I did used to go pre-COVID, and I know Rosie was a part of it at some point pre-COVID as well. And then the committee sort of went dormant for a few years during COVID, and it's only just come back.
What can you explain to me? What is the Pacifica Library Advisory Committee?
Let's see. I'm looking at the website now. It says,
what do they do?
The purpose and objectives of the Library Advisory Committee are to increase project transparency by holding meetings open to the community and in compliance with Brown Act requirements, assist city staff by providing feedback on various elements of the project. It's about building and designing a new library for Pacifica.
Got you. Okay. Is anybody interested in that?
I would be, but I got my name on a lot of stuff right now, so I don't want to overextend myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be okay if we don't have anybody at the moment.
Okay, if we just leave that one.
Yeah.
Okay, because that was an ad. Okay. All right.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. So let's see, we're moving on to item 15B1, 2024 California School Board School Dashboard presentation by our Deputy Superintendent of Educational Services, Karine Baca.
Good evening, President Gallegos. Good evening, members of the board. This evening, I'll be sharing with you the results from the California School Dashboard from the 2024 school year. So first, I will provide an overview and then share the results for each indicator and then briefly talk about some key takeaways. So what is the dashboard? So the California School Dashboard, or Dashboard for short, is an online tool that shows how districts are performing in multiple measures. Its primary purpose, since it was first published in 2017, is to help the public identify the strengths, challenges of districts, schools, and student groups. The dashboard is also used to determine districts in need of additional assistance or intervention. So the state indicator colors range from red being the lowest to blue as being the highest performance. Green is the minimum ideal color for all of the indicators. And the State Board of Education sets the range for these colors. So to get a color, you start with the status for the current data year. The status ranges from very low to very high. And then you look at the change or the difference from the previous year. So the change levels range from decreased significantly to increased significantly. So here's an example of an actual graduation indicator for JUHSD in 2024. So the grad rate for 2024 for JUHSD was 90.4%. And as you can see, 90.4% falls in the medium status. Now, we need to determine if the 90.4% was a decrease, maintain, or increase from 2023. The grad rate for 2023 was 89.7%. So there was an increase of 0.7%. That percentage falls in the maintained level. So where the medium status and maintained level intersects is the yellow performance. So that's how you would get a color for each of these indicators. So in summary, the performance color is achieved starting with the status for that year and whether there was an increase, decrease, or maintain from the previous year. I'd like to point out that the dashboard also displays the demographic information for the district and the school. So here's an example from the 2024. It shows the enrollment and the percentage for each student groups. So to receive a color, the group must have at least 30 students in the denominator in the current year and in the previous year. An exception to this would be our foster youth, homeless, and long-term English learners, where the denominator has to be at least 15. Beginning in the 2024 school year, the State Board of Education established a new group, which is our long-term English learners. So long-term English learner is defined by a student who has not attained English language proficiency within 7 years of being classified as an English learner. And before we take a look at the results, I'd like to remind you that the indicators I will be sharing are based on the priorities by the California Department of Education. Within these priorities are state and local indicators. And I will be going over the purple indicators in the next few slides. So here's a snapshot of the district's overall performance. The tiles with the gauges or the colors are the state indicators. And the last 5 tiles are all local indicators. And we met all of those local indicators and the results were reported last June. So I'll go more in detail in the next few slides on how we perform in each of these indicators. So let's start with the academic performance bucket. We'll go over the academic indicator for English. So this indicator is measured by how students are meeting grade level standards in English using the Smarter Balance assessments and the California alternate assessments. And this was administered to 11th grade students in the spring. This indicator is measured by the average distance of scores from the standard MET level benchmark. District-wide, we received a green. The average student scores were 4.1 above the standard, and this is a 6.4 increase from the previous year. So the graph below this shows us how far our students are from the standard in the last 4 years. And as you can see, we've pretty much hovered around the same standard scores within the last 4 years. And to the right of the tiles, you can see how each student groups performed. So the group without performance color, so their grade out, means that there are less than 30 students district-wide. That's why there is no color. I've also included the placement by schools, and here is the 5x5 grid, and I included this so that you can see the cutoff range for each of the level and also each of the status and the change. And as you can see, Westmore, Terra Nova have green performance, and Westmore has green, Terra Nova with green, Oceana orange, Jefferson orange, and Thornton with orange. Here's the academic indicator for math. And this measures how our students are doing and how they're meeting grade level standards using the Smarter Balance assessments as well. The math indicator is also measured by the distance from standard, and we received an orange with 78 points below the standard. And to the right, our student group performance. Here is the placement by schools. And one of new category is our California science test, and this is for information only. This is not used for accountability measure, but as you can see, we were 21.1 points below standard. This is not used for this year's accountability, but it will be for the following year. And to the right are the performance for each of our student groups. Another academic indicator is the English learner proficiency. So this indicator is measured by the LPAC, which stands for English Language Proficiency Assessments for California. And this test is administered to all of our English learners in the spring. This is calculated using the number of students who increase a level from the previous year and the number of students who maintained the highest level of performance, which is a 4. So overall, we received an orange performance with 40.6 making progress, and this is a decline of 7.2% from the previous year. To the right is the yearly comparison of student performance, and the percent of students who maintain a level increased a little bit, but the percent of students who increased a level decreased by about 6%. I'm also happy to share that we met the participation rate target of 95%. So shout out to Dr. Robinson and her team and our vice principals and our English learner teachers who basically hustled to make sure that our students take this assessment, because we get penalized if we don't meet the 95% participation rate. Here is the 5x5 placement by school. As you can see, we only have Jefferson and Westmore High School because Oceana, Terra Nova, and Thornton do not have the significant number of English learner students in the district. Now here is the college and career indicator, and it's probably the most complex of all indicators, as there are multiple ways for a student to deem prepared for college and career. So a student can meet this indicator through more than one path, and I'll go over that in a little bit. But overall, 52.3% of class of 2024 were deemed college and career prepared, and this percentage is an increase from the year before. So the tiles to the right again shows the colors for each student group, and at the bottom is the percentage that goes along with these colors. Here is the placement by school. And there are a couple of slides. There's a lot of ways to meet this, and I won't go into details on how to meet this, but a student can meet it through earning college credits, meeting the A through G requirement, meeting the Smarter Balance assessment thresholds, through CTE, through advanced placement test scores, through IB test scores, which we currently don't have, through State Seal of Biliteracy, leadership, military science, which we also don't have, pre-apprenticeship, work-based learning, and state or federal job program for our alternative school. So this is the breakdown for how our students met prepared. And as you can see, most of our students met the prepared category through meeting the UC or CSU requirement. So these are the requirements to meet minimum eligibility for the University of California and California State University system. This is followed by our Smarter Balance assessments. And the criteria to the right, we do not have that criteria yet. It's been established very recently, so that is something that we can look at to see if we would be able to qualify some students through those criteria. Now, with academic engagement, we will look at graduation rate. So in 2024, we received a yellow performance with a rate of 90.4%, We maintained this level from the previous year. Graduation rate is determined by the number of students in the cohort who received their high school diploma in 4 years, but it also includes the students who graduated in 5 years, because we have quite a few students that need that 5th year in order to meet the requirements. So the tiles show the performance colors for each student groups, and below is the graduation rate that corresponds to these student groups. Here is the graduation rate comparison from year to year. And as you can see, we've pretty much remained the same, but there has been a slight increase within the last 4 years. And we've also, our rate is higher than our state average as well. I included the 5x5 placement by schools. And as you can see, I just want to point out that I know that we received a yellow. If you look at the status for medium, the range is from 80 to 90.4. So we were 0.1% away from having a high status. And if we did get a high and a maintain, we would have gotten green. So we were very, very close. Now for conditions and climate, Ms. Beswino. We received a green. With 2.7% of our students suspended in school or out of school for 1 full day. This is a decline of 1%. And since the dashboard was published, this has been our lowest suspension rate. Yay. And here is the placement by schools. And this is just a comparison of all of the districts in the county. And as you can see, we're actually we're doing quite well. I just want to give a shout out to all of our teachers and our administrators who's working really, really hard. And, they're teaching every day and trying new things and challenging our students. And it shows because our scores have been improving. And in fact, one of the key takeaways is that this year we were not identified as needing intervention from the federal government or the state government or the county as far as the dashboard goes. Out of the 23 districts in the county, only 8 did not need any intervention, and we were one of the 8. So that is awesome. We got a green in suspension, academic performance in ELA, and this is the first time I've gotten green in ELA. And also we got a green in college and career indicator. Areas of growth, as I mentioned when I presented the CASP scores, math is an area of focus that we really need to look at and address. And also, we're going to try to see if we can bring up our English language proficiency indicator back up. I know that our teachers and Dr. Robinson is trying this new system called Summit K-12, where students can actually practice kind of like mimic the assessment type, the question types from the LPAC, so that when they take the test in the spring, it's not their first time seeing it that first year. So this assessment is given 3 times a year. One of the great things about this system is that it gives us practice questions for listening. Listening has been one of the more challenging part of the LPAC because we don't really test much for listening, where somebody listens and you ask them questions to see if they understood what was said. A lot of the tests that we give are, reading or writing, sometimes, oral speaking, but listening. I feel like, our students haven't really had much practice in listening. For plan improvements, this is all in the LCAP. We're continuing with Universal Design for Learning to ensure that all of our students have access to all the content standards and skills, and also our anti-racism and equity work so that we can really target the students who need it the most. Our social, emotional, and mental health support work is always key in ensuring that our students are engaged and are performing well. And we really need to be mindful and see where students are in the college and career indicator to see if, if there's if they're just missing that one, course for A through G, let's kind of, try to offer that to students so that they can meet the college and career indicator. And finally, the bell schedule changes have, really helped a lot with our increase in graduation rate and A through G rate. I know Terra Nova is exploring for the following year to move into the 7-period day. But because of that transition, our A through G rate have rocketed, and our graduation rate has also improved. And that is it. I know it's a lot, and I'm more than happy to sit with you to go over this.
You did an amazing job, as always, breaking down a lot of data for us to try to understand. So thank you for that. I'd like to ask you to make a YouTube video of that presentation so we can send it out to the parents, because it would be great for them to understand it the way you broke it down here for us, because that's a lot, like you said. So I appreciate it. I'd like to open it up to the board, student board trustees and our board for any questions.
All right, I'll start. First, just going back, thank you for the presentation. Good information. It really makes me realize that the work we're doing with our board goals really dovetails into a lot of this work. And it'll be interesting to see how some of that focus will start to appear on the dashboard. But one question, just going back to slide 18, how JUHSD students met prepared on the college and career indicator. The 990, what is that denominator? Who is that cohort specifically?
So that's the class of 2024.
Okay, so it's last year's graduates. Okay.
And you'll also see that it doesn't really add up to 990 because a student can meet the path. Like there's different ways to meet a pathway. So somebody could meet both CTE and Smarter Balance or all of the above.
And so we feed this information to the CDE so that they fill the dashboard. How do they get the data?
Multiple sources. With the test, like so for instance, advanced placement, they get the scores directly from College Board. For same thing with Smarter Balance assessment. For the college credit course, we have to make sure that we tag our student information system correctly. And so our data processing team and our registrars are working really hard to ensure that the data that we enter is with integrity, because if not, one, not check box could mean that, we have 0 A through G completers.
Okay. That's good to know. And with regards to the other pathways, are we looking at some of the other pathways?
I know that we're looking at the work-based learning experience through CTE. The registered pre-apprenticeship, I'm not quite familiar with that yet, so that's something that we can look into. IB, we don't have that program yet. And I don't know if we would have a military science.
Okay. Thank you. That's good info. And I really dislike looking at the dashboard and the colors because it can be a little confusing because the numbers make more sense to me being that kind of person. But it is nice to see that the data is starting to improve in several areas. But I know a lot of work yet to be done.
So the colors can be, really deceiving because it could be that their status is really high, but they didn't really improve that much. So it kind of, remains the same. Or their status is low, but they improved so much better from the previous year. And so having those numbers and the 5x5 placement with the actual ranges actually help to kind of, gauge and see how we're doing.
Okay, so if we were to look at the math board for us at slide 10, so what we're saying is that our district's number fell into that range of -60 to -115 below standard. Is that what that means?
Are we on math?
Yeah, on math.
Okay. So if you look at this, we're 78 points below standard.
Okay.
And we maintain 0.1 points. So actually in the 23 dashboard, we were also 78 points below standard. So there wasn't that much change
No
at
change.
all.
Okay. I see. All right. So if we were to move over, then look at the green for Terra Nova, it means that they were still below the standard, but they increased from the prior year, and that's why it's green. So they showed improvement even though the scores are middling.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. So what does it mean when it says no student groups? Because sometimes there's only one indicator, and then like in graduation rate, you've got a red no student group and then an orange no student group.
So no student group, like in here, it just basically means that there are no significant student groups that we have that fell into that color. So for this example, nobody scored in the blue.
Oh.
Yeah, so we didn't have
Okay.
any blues.
Okay, great.
Confused me first too, Rosie. It's a
Yeah.
way to report it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
It's very nuanced.
If I may, I don't know if there's a question or something that we can discuss further on, so please correct me. I'm still learning, literally on the job. But one thing that kind of stood out to me on 20 out of 27, the graduation rates, this seems to be a direct or more like identical data points for African American students as well as homeless students. Just curious about that. Like, it just baffles me that a child will be homeless. And, like, maybe this is an agenda item that we can discuss later. And what are we doing as a school district to address some of these challenges that our students are facing? Like, no child should be homeless.
Yeah, it just happenstance that they are the same. Just trying to look at the number of our homeless students identified. Believe we have less than, say, of 35 students, and I don't know how many of them are African Americans. Something that we can look into.
Thank you.
So that would be something that Ms. Baca can look into, and that we would put that information into the weekly recap. Okay.
Sounds good.
Anybody else?
Yeah. So thank you. This is, again, a lot of work. And I have, excuse me, I have kind of a holistic comment to everyone who's worked so hard to, come up with pathways for success by the students in the district. And as we continue to recognize places for improvement, I'm happy to be part of the process. Whatever I can do, whatever the work with the board to do, I'm just kind of thankful for effort from all staff to continue to pushing for our students. That's all. And especially you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherette. Dominic?
Yes, I have a question. So in like a couple slides forward, when we were talking about like the no student groups on one of those slides, For the no performance color, does that just mean that there's not enough data points to put those student groups into each of the categories?
Yes, so 30 is the minimum number of students unless they're foster youth, homeless, or long-term English learner, where 15 is the minimum.
Okay, thank you.
That's a great question. That was going to be something I mentioned as well. Is there any way to see any of that data though? I know the data is there, right? It's just not being, is it just not being shown to us?
It's not being shown publicly, but I have the hard data if we need to see them and look at them.
I think it's good to know. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a constituent of, students there that we got to take a look at. So
Can I jump on a related question? So I saw a raw number of African-American students. It's 54. Is that right?
Yes, it's 54 district-wide, and this year we are at 48.
Okay. And back on the slide we were just looking at, they're in the no performance color. So does that mean that fewer than 30 African-American students were part of this Smarter Balance assessment and the California alternate assessment?
Question. So this assessment is only given to 11th graders. So the 54 includes grades 9 through 12. So we don't have 30 in the 11th grade cohort who took this last year.
Thank you.
But to your point, it doesn't mean we don't have data for those students.
Right.
It's just that there's not a critical number.
Yes. And for, privacy purposes, they don't, really share it because the numbers are too small. But then again, I'd be more than happy to share that in the weekly recap.
yeah, thank you. Rosie?
Oh, I didn't have.
Nothing? Okay. I think the only comment that I had really that kind of stood out to me was Thornton's graduation rate and kind of how far behind that cohort of students is. And, I guess really just try to make sure and I know we are, but I mean, just focus some attention on that and kind of take a look at what we could do more there to try to bring those numbers up a little bit. I mean, it's there for us to try to figure out, I think. So, but other than that, I mean, these numbers are looking great. I mean, we're either staying level or going up. So that's good. I think the suspension rate thing is great. Hopefully we keep trending that way. So thank you.
Thank you.
If I could make one more comment. I'm a math geek. I love math because, numbers just don't lie and I believe in them. But quick question about what did Terra Nova do differently to get their math scores to improve? And can we use that same formula and test it out with the other schools? Just thinking out loud.
Great question. I'd have to speak with our Terra Nova math teachers and see if they had done something differently. And I know that our math teachers for each of the school site do collaborate and they come here to the district office and talk about best practices. And so with our math TOSA and our director of curriculum, Dr. Robinson, we can talk about what are some of things that they're trying to improve the math scores.
All right, thank you.
All right, anything else? If not, we're moving on to item 16, action item A1, request for proposal for crosswalk improvements at 705 Ceremony Boulevard. And that'll be Deputy Superintendent Tina Van Rappaport.
Thank you, President Gallegos. Good evening, everyone. As part of the closeout for 705 Ceremony, before we can get our certificate of occupancy, we need to finish the upgrades to the intersection there. And this request for proposal will be released at the end of the week if it is approved tonight.
All right.
Just one quick bit of editorializing on this. I think it's ridiculous that that a crosswalk is preventing us from having a certificate of occupancy when we've occupied that building for 2.5 years. But, such is the city, Daly City. All right. Move to approve the RFP for the crosswalk improvements.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on to item 2, let's see, 2024-25/11 parcel tax election results and request to levy. Tina, you have the stage again.
Thank you. This item is a resolution to acknowledge that the voters passed our Measure Z parcel tax. And this resolution will allow the county to assess that parcel tax.
Can I get a motion to approve the adoption of resolution 2024-2025-11/11, entertaining the results of the November 4th, 2024 parcel tax election into board minutes and requesting the Board of Supervisors of San Mateo County to include the voter parcel tax?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And thank you very much to the voters.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Civic duty. Go.
All right. 16A3. Let's see, resolution 2024-2025/12 for authorized signatures of the governing board. Tina?
Thank you. So each year, the governing board needs to approve which of the officers or employees are eligible to sign district business, like contracts and checks, things like that.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the resolution for authorized signatures of the governing board?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Are there any future agenda items that need to be considered? All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Hey, good meeting.